Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create these festival vibes inspired designs. So if you want to see how it's done, then just keep watching. So first up, I'm just going to decant all of the gel colours I'm using onto this palette. The palette is from River Island. It's actually a candlestick holder. So I'm just popping all the colours out. They're all from MAGPIE Beauty. They are 100% gel formula. They are super creamy and super pigmented. I love MAGPIE gels, as you guys probably already know because I use them all the time. So I'm just popping these 5 colours out. This one is definitely a well-loved Breakfast at Tiffany's. Is a beautiful minty green blue colour. I love it. So first off, I'm starting with the first design and I'm just taking the gels on a brush. This brush is from AliExpress. It's just a cheap brush, kind of an oval shape. It's really good for doing designs like this. Making sure I'm wiping off my brush between each colour, and I'm just applying the colours horizontally along the nail, working my way down using different colours. And what I'm going to do with the colours is slightly blend them into each other. I don't want them to be completely ombreed or anything like that. They can be quite streaky, but I'm just going to gradient the colours all the way down the nail with my brush, and I'll be back once I've done that. Once I'm happy with how that's looking, I'm going to put it in the lamp for a full cure of 60 seconds. So on to the next design now. So this one, again, you're leaving the gel wet on the nail and kind of blending them all together, but in a slightly different way. So for this one, I'm kind of creating a bath bomb swirly marble effect. So I'm putting all the gels onto the nail in like a swirly pattern, kind of giving them a nice flow, and I'm working through each colour and applying it to the nail. And you'll notice here I'm applying them quite thick. Depending on the gels you're using will depend on how thick you can apply them. If you're using a pure gel formula gel colour, then you'll be fine applying them thicker. If you're using a gel polish, a polish to gel hybrid, you may find you get a bit of wrinkling and bubbling because it's not curing properly. So this is the first stage. Then I'm going in with a striping brush, also from AliExpress. There's a set of 5 for a couple of pounds and they've got wooden handles. They are great. And I'm just using my brush and swirling it backwards and forwards, but I'm keeping it in that kind of vertical swirly motion. I'm not dragging my brush through horizontally. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to cure that in my lamp for a full cure of 60 seconds to make sure it's fully cured, because the gels are applied quite thick on here. And then I'm going to go on to the next design. So for the next design, you need a base colour, and I'm using Give Me Strength Peach, which is just a sheer peach colour. This is a slightly thicker, stronger gel you can use for adding a little bit of strength to your client's nails, but for this, I'm using it purely for design and the colour. So I'm applying one layer of this, and I'm going to leave this wet, and then I'm going to start dotting all of those 5 MAGPIE gel colours into the wet layer of gel, and I'm going to go through every single colour and apply them onto the nail in random places. Once you've finished putting all the dots on, it kind of looks like a dinosaur bobbly cartoon print. I kind of like it like this. I'm going to take my striping brush, and using the end of my striping brush and holding my brush vertically, I'm going to start swirling my brush in little S shapes throughout the nail, and as you can see, it starts to swirl the gel dots together and create a really funky pattern. The technique with this is less is more for sure, and then cure that in the lamp once you've finished. So I'm going to be using the Dixie Plates Festival Fever stamping plate. I love this. This might be my favourite Dixie plate stamping plate as of yet. And I'm also going to be using my Triple D stamper with my scraper. And stamping polish is black and it's number 3 from Born Pretty. You can get this from eBay, AliExpress, Amazon, from loads of places. So the trick with stamping is make sure you remove your inhibition layer, so I've just cleansed that off, and now I'm going to go in with the stamping design. Now with all of these designs you don't have to do this stamping over top, you could just leave it with the swirly marbly designs as they are and leave it like that, but I wanted to add some black dimension and depth to the nail by adding these black detailed lines, and this stamping plate was just screaming at me, so I had to use it. So that's the first design, and then I'm just prepping the next nail. This is the Ombre Vertical one, and as you can see here, it's not blended at all. I wanted to keep it quite messy, and then I'm using this full image on the right hand side here. Sometimes you need to scrape a few times. This black stamping polish I'm using is so pigmented, so I definitely had to scrape a few times for this because the pigment was so intense and I didn't want it to be so black. So you can see here how perfectly it picks up, and I'm just stamping that directly down onto the nail. And then what I did do, because this stamp wasn't long enough for the nail, because the nail I'm using is a display nail so it's quite long, is I'm just using what's left over on my stamper from the design and stamping it on the bottom. That way I think it just ties in really nicely. So onto the last design. This is the Swirling Marble one. Don't forget to keep your stamper nice and clean in between each use and roll on a lint pad. It just keeps it nice and clean and free of all the old stamping polish. So I'm using these eye design on this image. These eyes are so funky, I love them. They are definitely the favourite image on this plate for me. And I'm just stamping them all over the nail, completely covering it as if it was a reoccurring pattern type thing. And I'm just covering the whole thing. How cool do they look? I just think they look so awesome. And I'm picking up a couple of the eyes at a time just so I can get them placed exactly where I want them to be. And then I'm also using my scraper, just like I'm doing now, to remove any excess polish off the stamper before I place it down onto the nail so that we don't end up with a big mess. So I'm just going to add a couple more of these eyes onto the nail, just slightly coming onto the nail so they're half on, half off, to just make the design flow and kind of all finish off together nicely. And then I'm going to go in with some exciting stuff. This is Stick It. I get it from Nail Stamping Queen UK, and it just sticks foil on really well. So I'm just getting a blob of that and adding it into a couple of different places onto the nails. This is really good for doing detail work like this. I don't find Stick It works for full coverage nails in my opinion, but it definitely works for detailing like this. It works perfectly. So I'm going in with Stick It and applying it in random places on each of these designs. On this one I thought it would look cool in the middle of each eye, so I'm adding it to the middle of them. And then on the last design I wanted to add it in loads of random different places, so I kind of just did dots everywhere. Once I'm happy where I've placed all that Stick It gel, I'm going to cure it in my lamp for 30 seconds and then they are ready for foil. So I'm going to be using the MAGPIE foil in Lily Ann. It's a beautiful gold foil, and I'm just going to cut a sheet of this off, ready to go. And all you do is start pressing the foil over the nail, and where you've put that Stick It gel, it will pick up the foil and just give it a little bit of magic. It just looks really cool. I think it creates kind of like a foil stud effect, kind of you've got metal studs on the nail. I think it looks so cool. It just needed it to give it a little bit of a pop and a little bit of metallic sparkle. I think it just finishes these designs off perfectly. Once I've done with all the foil, I'm going in with top coat, and I'm just using Let It Shine top coat from MAGPIE, and I'm going to apply a coat of this to every single one of these nails and finish off by curing in my lamp for 60 seconds. So there are all the designs completed. I am obsessed with how these turned out. I think these are so fun for festivals and summer and really any time of the year really. I just love how they turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials. All products and links will be in the description description box down below, so go check that out if you want to find out where you can get all of the products I've used in this video. I also have a discount code for you guys for Dixie plates. It's Isabel20 and you can get 20% off your orders from DIXIEGIRLXOX. Again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!